So guys, last time I did a video, I said there was gonna be a part two. Well, that was a couple of minutes ago, so I'm just gonna do another one right here. I started talking about like relationships. I said that I don't have any desire. People put themselves out there a lot on social media. It's open season, it's open access. So now I want to talk about these girls that are social media whores, which is another reason that kind of discourages me for really, putting myself out there and chaining myself down to one of these girls. So every girl now, like on Instagram, most of the time is there. It's like you never had this back in the day, where this is such a self-centered world that we live in, where we actually have sites where we could post pictures of ourselves, showing ourselves off and seeking approval through likes. They even had like polls where would people rather have more money or more likes? And there were people that actually said they would like more likes. Sometimes people get sponsored, they have more likes, so that might translate to money, but I guess it's just a little bit funny when you think about it. Like, what are likes? You have more likes, and that's about it. But it's the approval. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's just people have like low confidence that they need to be like reassured. And I always found people that are like rarely that go on social media. They usually tend to be more interesting people. Now, I go on social media without a doubt. And I don't know. I sometimes like to think that I'm an interesting person, but maybe I'm not. I really don't know. That's up for you to decide, really. But I don't know. It's something like I've fallen into it. And I've been using it for quite many years. I really started to get into it in 2008, really, when I was attending college, and I was introduced to MySpace, and I really liked it, and then I got over to Facebook, and then there was always people telling me about these sites. I never found out about them on my own. YouTube was actually one of the things that I actually found out on my own. Because there was a period of time, like really when I was in college, I was really like keeping to myself. I talked to people on campus, but I was hanging out with certain individuals, but not as much. I found myself keeping more to myself a lot of the time. Like on my breaks in college, I didn't really like go and talk to a lot of people. I did as the years progressed, but I found out about social media. So anyway, so let's talk more specifically about it. So we put ourselves out there, we write 1,000 hashtags underneath the picture of ourselves. And it's like, okay, so I see these girls and I see a lot of desperate comments from guys complimenting them on their beauty. Sometimes it gets more vulgar and sexual, which kind of translates to what I was talking about, the Trump tape. These same people have no problems like posting on pictures of girls that, they want these girls to fucking fart in their face or sit on their face or whatever it may be. And we see pictures like, with the, like droplets of water. Well, we know what that's supposed to represent, and people post the picture of the eggplant, and it's like, wow, we have a really sexual culture. We have a very, almost seems like sexually deprived culture at one point, where we really let our fantasies get the best of us, it seems like at times. We've really gone into sexual overdrive, it seems like, especially with Instagram and everything. Like, I used to think it was bad with like Facebook, but Instagram really turned up the fucking dial. You see guys just posting just unbelievable things that I don't think that guys would even say in person to a lot of these girls, and probably not, because there's very little consequence on Instagram. You don't know these people. They could live in fucking Texas, you live in New York, you live in Georgia, they live in Carolina, or they might even live in the UK, whatever it is. The chances are that you're going to meet them. So this is a comment, and your comment's going to get lost in the shuffle. Some of these girls have like 56K, 100,000, 500,000 followers. I can't even believe it sometimes. It is like unbelievable. Then there's like pages dedicated to certain types of girls like BBWs and girls with larger assets. And it's kind of like, you know, we've really just kind of dumbed down what it means to be a human being. Where we've kind of just like, being the sexiest makes you the best. And really it doesn't. I mean, do you realize like intelligence, you know, and being like a truthful, honest, loyal, good person really means nothing anymore? I don't even know what it means. I mean, that's why I think with all these pickup artists and everything, they're wasting their time. Maybe years ago this was a thing, but now it's just like nothing makes any fucking sense. You know, we live in a culture now that's very self-obsessed, self-centered. Now you can always say people were always self-centered. I mean, if you don't put yourself first, a lot of times you're going to end up living a miserable life. Anybody they ever known that, you know, ever really went out of their way to try to help others always ended up getting fucked over in the end. So we're a very self-centered culture. We're very obsessed with ourselves. And that's maybe why so many people end up being depressed. They end up being alone. And sometimes you really can't help that. Like I was saying in my previous video, you know, my married friend was saying you don't want to die alone. But the thing is, a lot of times you could feel very alone, even when you're with somebody, even when you're living with somebody. And I could speak to that. You'll feel alone. You're not always, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you'll feel more alone, you know, feeling that you're chained down to somebody. And a lot of times it's like this. Like I said, we let our fantasies get the best of us. And sometimes when we fulfill our fantasies and we get with the person that we want to be, we learn about them. It's kind of like a celebrity. You know how sometimes you love a celebrity and then when you finally get to meet them, you say, hey, they're a fucking asshole. Well, it's a lot of times like that with somebody. You know, you finally get to fulfill your fantasy. And, you know, it was like that with my ex. For months and months, I wanted to be with her. I found her to be very alluring. And, you know, everything just fell into place. And I thought it was meant to be. And I guess that it was, whatever it was. And then I learned that, hey, not that she's a bad person, but this person is not for me. We are complete polar opposites. She may be beautiful. She, you know, may be stunning. And, you know, but the thing is, it's like, it wasn't for me. This is what I'm saying. So it's like, you could spend all your time, and then in the end, it really amounts to nothing, because you're going to break up, and you're just probably never going to date that person again. And the thing what's crazy is that a lot of times, I mean, the thing is, like I said, you know, you could just, they'll go back to, and the thing is, if it failed the first time, why go back? People are always going back to their ex. And then there's the crazy thing, which I'm not going to really get to in this video, because we already talked about it at nausea the last time. A lot of times when relationships fail, like, I see it more with females. Let's be honest. You'll make the argument with males, or you'll maybe make the argument against this completely. But a lot of times, females will end up going with females. They'll jump ship. They'll jump ship to their sex, and they will start, you know, and they will start exploring lesbianism. Now, one of my past coworkers that I still know, I was talking with one of my friends yesterday. We were hanging out. We were discussing somebody. Yeah. We, just like everybody else, we talk about people. Talking about this one girl. And I was saying, like, oh, she's going to the gay pride parade now. Now, when I was working with her, she was straight. She had a boyfriend. She lived with her boyfriend. Then they broke up. Now, all of a sudden, it's gay pride parade. Let's go. Bisexual. I already said I don't buy the bisexual argument. You've got to favor one over the other. Maybe, you're bi-curious and everything. But the thing is, I feel when you've hit 30 years of age, you should fucking know what you're attracted to. You like men, you like women. Otherwise, I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's a mental disorder. Call me hateful, call me a bigot, call me whatever you want. I don't fucking care. This is the things that I've seen. And the thing is, like I always say, if I observe something, if I hear something, I am not going to lie. I am not going to deceive anybody and just say something politically correct to make others happy. No, I see it with my own two eyes. I think it's just because maybe you're flawed in some way, or, you know, maybe you've just had a bad run of luck. You just should not just completely give up and just go after the other sex. That's not how it works. That's not how it should be. You know, you don't just give up on the on like who you're really supposed to be with. People who have the opposite reproductive parts than you. You know, you're supposed to be with the opposite sex. And the thing is, when you've been living and, you know, following this path for so long, and then all of a sudden you just deviate at 30 years old to the opposite, to the same sex. I mean, I just think that that's fucking bullshit. And you have a mental disorder. You're confused. You don't know what you're doing, and you're doing this out of depression. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I've never claimed to be. But since there's so many people so dishonest and they don't want to talk about it, I feel like I'm going to have to step in and, you know, share my 2 cents on the topic. Because I don't think there's enough people discussing this. They need to be honest already, and they need to, you know, call a spade already. It's fucking bullshit. You're bi-curious. What are you curious about? You know that you like men. You know that you want to be with a man. And then you're just going to jump ship to somebody else. You know, somebody can... That fucking acorn fell in my fucking car. Why is that shit so fucking loud? It sounds like a fucking gunshot, for God's sakes. But, you know, it's like, I discussed this and got pretty, you know, vulgar about it. And vulgar. It's like, let's talk about it. I mean, if you're a girl and you're going to get with another girl, the chances are you're going to fucking wear a strap on, right? So, like, you've had real penis your whole life, and then you're just going to jump ship to something completely that's simulated? All right. I don't know if this is getting off track, but I'm just saying, it's just like, this is one thing leads to another in society. We're putting ourselves out there. We're whoring ourselves out. We're not really being true to ourselves. We're, you know, or maybe we are. We're just self-centered. We have low confidence in this day and age. You know, we've been told to be politically correct. We've been fed lies. You know, we're just, society in general has been set up in such a way where we're really just destined to fail as human beings. You know, we've maybe been spoiled too much with technology, making networking with people and communication a little bit too easy to the point where it's abused. We can't go back. I'm not saying that, you know, we should just take all this fucking technology and just burn it like fucking books, you know, during Nazi Germany. We're not going to fucking do that. There's not going to be any book burning. There's not going to be any fucking computer chip burning. But just saying, it's just interesting to just step back and just really see how, you know, the digital age has really affected us. And, yeah, guys, that's all pretty much I have to say for right now. You know, we're just not in a good spot as human beings at the moment right now, is all I'm pretty much saying. We're not really, like, I'm not really feel like we're living in society where I walk around, I'm really proud of, like, what I see. And, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it would be nice to have a significant other, but at what cost, I'm pretty much saying. You know, whether I have to die alone or whatever it is, it's like, if I didn't find the right person for me, I'm not going to force myself to do so. All right, guys, until next time.